Yes. I know. Premier League शुरू हो चुका है. 2 weeks ago Premier League started. Yes, I know I'm a little bit late with my predictions. That is why I'm not actually making the predictions. Smart, right? No. This is going to be kind of like an analysis video. Okay, I'm going to pick out each team, see where they stand in the transfer market, what they've done this window, and analyze if they can actually win the league or compete for a Champions League spot in case of Arsenal. So my I waited this long because I wanted to see what each team would do in the transfer window, and I'm only making out a video if I think their transfer business is done and they won't go for any other player. Okay, now if I'll tell you why I did this, because if I made this video like 3 weeks ago before the Premier League started, if I made this video, I would have predicted a lot different about Chelsea. Okay, and now my answer is a little bit different. Not my answer, my analysis is a little bit different. So that's why I took a little time to make this, yeah, let's get started. So Chelsea, can they win the Premier League this season? Can they win the Premier League this season? I won't answer this question. I can't answer this question, okay, because the only answer we'll get is 36 match days later. So I can only analyze, I can only predict, I can only think where Chelsea can finish. Okay, basically that's my point. Now Chelsea last season, European champions, right? It's a huge prestige to have. Okay, as a Real Madrid fan, I know that. Okay, if you are the Premier League champion, not Premier League champion, if you are the European champion, you have a little bit of a crown on your head. Okay, you think differently about your team, and obviously become a favorite in the league next season. So Chelsea are the European champions. Okay, but what I've seen before, what I've seen in the earlier days with Bayern Munich, with Liverpool, with Real Madrid 3 times in a row. You could say that if a team is European champions, they're easily the best team in Europe. That's exactly what it means. Right? If you're the European champion, that means you're the best team in Europe. But with Chelsea, it's different. Even though they're the European champions, I don't think they're the best team in Europe. They're far from the best team in Europe. Okay, and there's a reason why. Because their league result last season was underachieved. That is what I'll say, underachieved. Okay, because they paid a lot of money for some players. They paid 150 million for Timo Werner, for Kai Havertz, for Kim Ziyech. They paid 150 million for them, and they combined scored 12 goals, and that is not a good stat to have. That is really not a good stat to have. So where will Chelsea finish? In fact, they would not have finished in the top 4 if it wasn't for Gareth Bale. Yeah, he scored a brace against Leicester City on the final match day. If he hadn't done that, Leicester City would have drawn against Spurs, and Chelsea would have been finished 5th because they lost against Aston Villa on the final match day. And that brings me to my second point. What they did last season, Chelsea, I was not a huge fan of it. Okay, because yes, they did finish in the top 4. Yes, it doesn't matter. Okay, they finished in the top 4. They won the Champions League. It all resets now, and they just go ahead with it. They had good stats last season. Okay, defensively, since Tuchel came in, they were one of the best defensive sides in Europe, and that is coming from a team with average defenders. Okay, no offense to them, except Thiago Silva, who I believe is world class. Kurt Zouma, Rudiger, and Christensen, Azpilicueta, they're all average. Okay, I mean, no offense to them at all. They're very reliable defenders. But if you think about like top 5 defenders in the world, you won't count them in. You'll count Sergio Ramos, you'll count Gerard Piqué, you'll count Virgil van Dijk, but not them, because they're not the best team in the world, but Tuchel got the best out of them. And yes, the stats say that they finished in the top 4, but they're underachieved it, like I said, because out of 38 games they won only 19 of them. They only had 2 wins more than Aston Villa. 2 wins more than Aston Villa, who finished 12th by the way in the league. 12th, they had 1 more win than Arsenal. 1. Okay, so Chelsea obviously underachieved. Like I said, it's a very important word here. Okay, because they have a good team, but they didn't live up to it. They only won 19 games out of a possible 38. That is not a top 4 side. Manchester City won 27 games. So if Chelsea want to win the Premier League, they have to perform at that standards. Liverpool won 30 games. 30 games out of 38. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Okay, and if Chelsea want to do something like that, they have to bring up their consistency, because last season they lost against West Brom, Southampton, they lost in Wolves, they lost twice against Arsenal. twice. One time at least, Arsenal were one of the worst teams in Europe. They lost against them 3-1. Okay, they have to reduce that losses. And they have to pick up that win. They have to win at least 25 games if they want to have a shot at that title. And that will be the most interesting thing that will happen this season. Okay, and like I said, last season the players, they underachieved. Okay, I know Timo Werner, a lot of people say bad things about him, but he had 8 assists also. Okay, and he had like 10 goals combined in Champions League also. Yes, I know they paid like 50 million for him, and they would expect a lot more from him. But it's important to understand that the player shifted from Germany to England. The style is different. It took some time to adapt. It's a different matter. Okay, he had 8 assists, so it's really not that bad as people make it seem like. Okay, and obviously with Hakim Ziyech and Kai Havertz, they expect a lot more from them, even Christian Pulisic. But they're not waiting for that. They're taking that big step forward. They're not waiting for Timo Werner. They're not waiting for Havertz and Ziyech to score. No, they brought in Lukaku. And look, here's the thing. I don't watch a lot of Premier League, but I'm an Arsenal enthusiast. Okay, and in the Premier League, I like to watch Arsenal play. I know, it's sad. But my point is, as an Arsenal enthusiast, it is a bit, I would be lying if I said I was not jealous of what Chelsea have done in the window. Because they didn't go for a lot of players. They spent like 150 million, which is a lot, yes, I know. But they spent it for a player who will guarantee them goals. Romelu Lukaku will guarantee them at least 25 goals per season. And that's a fact. Because 3 years ago when he left Manchester United, he was a different player. Not in terms of his stats. Yeah, he produced good stats at Manchester United too. That's why Inter paid that amount of money to get him out of there. But my point is, he's changed. Okay, he feels a lot good about himself. He has that confidence in him. You see his match against Arsenal. The way he uses his body, the physicality he brings to the game, because he understands where Mason Mount is. He understands what Kai Havertz wants to do. He understands what Mason Mount wants to do. He creates that space for them. He was responsible for both of those goals, and that is something that Chelsea want. They want that instinctiveness. Okay, Timo Werner is a very good guy. He's a great striker. Okay, on his day he's a good striker. I know his finishing is a little bit subpar at times, but with Lukaku he's great. He's a perfect coach, and he's at the right place at the right time, and that is what Chelsea need, because they have way too many creators in their team. Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, Hakim Ziyech, even Pulisic, Jorginho and all, they're all deep playing playmakers. Okay, they can produce you the balls, but you need someone to finish that, and Lukaku is one guy. Lukaku, he will rip the defenses apart. I won't be surprised if he wins the Golden Boot. I won't be surprised if he wins the Golden Boot at all. And this season, yes, like I said, the only thing that worries me about Chelsea is, can they maintain that consistency? Tuchel, he can produce a good stat. He can produce good numbers. He can produce good wins. But it's just, can they maintain that all the way? With Manchester City, I have that confidence. Okay, but like I said, Chelsea, they are the European champions, but they're still not the best team in Europe, and that is a sad fact. Okay, because if you look at Manchester City or even PSG for that matter, or even Bayern Munich or something, they don't have to be European champions to show that. Okay, because when you look at them play, you will feel that confidence. You will see like, yeah, you know what, this team will win this league, no doubt. Why do you think in the last 4 years, doesn't matter what happens in the Premier League, Manchester City are always favourites to win it? Because it's not just about Pep Guardiola, okay? Because the team plays with such confidence, and I want to see that confidence in Chelsea. I want to see them play that in their games when they play it. Okay, they have to win against Manchester City. They have to win these big games. They have to score 6-7 goals against the smaller teams like Manchester City. Okay, they don't waste these chances. Okay, when you're playing against teams like Norwich City, Watford or something, no offense to them at all, they're good teams too, but obviously if you think about it, like if they're playing against Chelsea and Manchester City, obviously you expect them to win. You expect Manchester City and Chelsea to get away with the 3 points. But Manchester City don't just take the 3 points away, they literally take 5-6 goals away from them. And that is what Chelsea have to do. They have to show that they are ready to win the Premier League. They have to show the domination in them. Okay, obviously last season with Frank Lampard, he was there for half a season. Obviously Tuchel didn't have one full season at Chelsea. He'll have it this time though. So I'm excited to see what Chelsea will do. So the question is, can Chelsea win the Premier League? The answer is yes, they can. But will they? Only time can tell.